now. And we'll go ahead and get started since it's 5 after. Welcome everybody to the Boston Food Access Council meeting of June 2020. Tonight, we'll go through our meeting norms and value statement, go through some introductions and take attendance basically, introduce you to our community update process, give a few general council updates, have a steering committee election, and then we'll use our breakout groups like we have before to get to know each other and learn more about what's happening in our neighborhoods right now. And then we'll have some brief updates from our working groups, sorry. And then we'll circle back to our community updates, and that will conclude the meeting. So, just a few rules for Zoom if you're new to the platform. You can use the form in the chat that we'll provide in a few minutes to mark your attendance. We are recording this meeting, as I mentioned before, and if you need Spanish interpretation, we can provide that post hoc. As you begin to speak, please add your name, organization if applicable, your pronouns, and neighborhood or community in the chat box. Please keep yourself muted at all times unless called on to speak. And please use the chat feature to ask questions during the presentations. We'll have time for Q&A at the end of each section. If you have a question you want to ask confidentially, please send them to Caroline Bond, our fabulous BFAC intern. And we will also be using the chat feature to share some links and things like that throughout the webinar. All right, and now Ryan's going to share with you our meeting norms.
Awesome. So every meeting, we like to start with just our meeting norms to ground us, so we're all on the same page. I will start off reading the first two, and then we can just popcorn. You can unmute yourself and just read along the next one. So I'll do the first three. We will work to create a safe space for people with lived experience and recognize all it takes to speak truth to power. Hear feedback, critique, and experiences as opportunities for growth and not as personal offenses, and everyone is encouraged to participate. And I will popcorn it to yes, sir.
You may be asked to share what you think, or we may ask for comments from those who haven't spoken. It is always okay to pass when you are asked to share a comment. When you speak, be brief and to the point. When you speak, state your name and where you live. During working groups and public meetings, treat others with respect as you disagree or agree and value what's being shared. When in doubt, ask for clarification. Every participant's voice will be respected. Step up and step back. Allow space for others to contribute. Always remember that we are working within a broken food system, and any critique of the emergency food system is a reflection of that and not a personal critique of someone's work or intent.
Thank you. And next for our value statement, I'll just read through these. The Boston Food Access Council brings together residents, activists, thought leaders, organizations, farmers, researchers, and other diverse stakeholders to address equitable food access in the city of Boston, recognizing its role in the larger Massachusetts food system. The BFAC asserts that consistent access to healthy, nutritious, affordable, and culturally appropriate food is a basic human right. The BFAC seeks to create an anti-racist, inclusive, and participatory culture of learning by building trust and transformational relationships within the community by engaging residents with lived experience in hunger. The BFAC aims to ground itself in a power-sharing model that honors and values all voices at the table, treating each other with dignity and respect, and is trauma-informed and self-critical. And lastly, the BFAC seeks to offer a space to help provide an equitable, community-centered platform for food access, affordability, and economic opportunity.
Terrific. All right, so we're going to do a few introductions of our steering committee and then share with you a place that you can record your attendance for tonight's meeting. For anyone that's new this evening, we wanted to provide a little bit of information about what the Boston Food Access Council is. This group was relaunched as a result of the 2019 Mayor's Food Access Agenda, which was a strategic plan that was put together for the city stakeholders with regard to food. It's now a volunteer-led independent organization that works hand in hand with the Mayor's Office of Food Justice. We are not technically city affiliated, but we do work in close partnership with them. Our network provides a community-led forum for engagement around the food access issues, and we work through our working groups, which are main drivers, and those include the Community Outreach, Education and Engagement Group, the Fundraising Group, the Mayor's Food Access Agenda, and the Policy and Advocacy Groups. We are led by a steering committee, and I'd like our steering committee members to go ahead and introduce themselves. We'll start with Cheryl, who I don't think can be on camera right now because she is traveling.
Thank you so much, Christine. Hi, everyone. My name is Cheryl Jean. I am the co-chair of the steering committee with Christine. I'm a community member of Dorchester, the director of Lower Roxbury Coalition.
And I am Christine Keller. I am co-chair with Cheryl, and I am also the director of the South Boston's Fourth Presbyterian Church Food Pantry. Yes, sir.
Hey everyone, my name is Yasser Aponte. I'm an organizational member on behalf of the Food Project.
Brian.
Hi everyone, I'm Ryan. I am a community member in Dorchester. I also work for the Cambridge Health Alliance. And yeah, great to be here today.
Lauren, she may have had to step away from her computer. Oh, she's on.
I'm here. I'm just going to stay off camera for a moment. Hi, everybody. My name is Lauren Palumbo. My pronouns are she, her. I'm the Chief Operating Officer at Levin Spoonfuls, a Massachusetts-based food rescue organization.
And Shauna and Cat Ears.
Hi, I'm Shauna Weaver, organizational member with About Fresh. I'm the director of Fresh Truck, located in Roxbury.
And our intern, Caroline.
Hey everyone, I'm Caroline. I am the BFAC intern. I go to Emerson, so obviously I'm a student. And yeah, really good to be here and see everyone.
Since we're such a small group, we'll just go ahead and have everyone do it if you don't mind. So we'll go with the order on my screen. Anli is next.
Hi everyone, I'm Anli, one of the co-chairs of the Community Engagement Group.
Thanks. And Musu? You're muted.
Hi,
Oh,
yes,
here we
I'm
go.
sorry, I had to relocate for the noise. Hi, Musakula Massaquoi. I'm the Community Program Coordinator for the Lower Roxbury Coalition Wellness Initiative. My pronouns are she and her, and I'm happy to be here from representing Roxbury.
Thanks. Regina?
Hello, I'm Regina. I'm one of the co-chairs of Tufts Friedman School's Food Policy Action Council. And my pronouns are she, her.
Norma?
Good evening, I'm Norma. My pronouns are she, her. I work for the Greater Boston Food Bank.
Sarah?
Good evening, I'm Sarah Manigo. My pronouns are she, her. I am the outgoing co-chair for the Policy and Advocacy Working Group, and I am the Vice President of Placement for the Junior League of Boston.
Thanks, Sarah. Elizabeth?
Hi everyone, my name is Elizabeth Ferrara. I work with local public health boards in various capacities as a consultant, and food justice and food access is top of the list for one of our regional projects. And I'm kind of seeing what's going on in your community. So I'm listening in mostly, but nice to see everyone, and shout out to Ryan, BUSPH alum. Love your work.
Susie?
Hey there, I'm Susie Jones. I'm a resident of Roslindale, and I also work on some food systems stuff over at the sustainability office at MIT.
And Tayan.
Hi everyone, my name is Hayan, she, her pronouns. I'm the Deputy Director with the Office of Food Justice and the co-chair with the Mayor's Food Access Agenda Work Group.
Wonderful. All right, well, we will proceed on. Share screen. All right. We have 2 items for attendance, but if you filled out one of them, listen closely, basically. We've got an attendance link that will be shared in the chat below. And we also have a survey that we began in March. So if you've already filled out the BFAC survey that we began, please don't fill it out again. But if you haven't filled it out, we would love to have more information about you or your organization. And some of our working groups are using that information to kind of look at what's representative by BFAC and through the food system in Boston, and also look at things like where we're not representing neighborhoods well, and potential grant opportunities and things like that. So we'll also provide that in the chat. All right. Next, we'll introduce community updates. And Yasser, if you could say a little bit about that, please.
Yeah, definitely. So at the end of the meeting, we'll be hosting the community updates, where if anyone present in this meeting has anything to tell the group or tell one another, if you can just put it in the chat, private message me, and then at the end, I'll relay the message back out to the group.
Terrific. All right, we have a few general BFAC Council updates for you. The most exciting update is that BFAC officially has a fiscal sponsor now. We're officially signed on with the NOPI, the nonprofit incubator. So this will allow us to begin fundraising. Yes, definitely applause and celebration. Woohoo! So Cheryl and I are completing the onboarding process right now, and we can start fundraising right away. So we're real excited about that. And that's our exciting BFAC update for the fiscal sponsorship portion. And I think Lauren's gonna say something real quick about our media and communications strategy that we've been working towards as well.
Sure, and I apologize for any background noise. I just had to like hop outside because dog. So we have been recognizing, I think for some time, that we want to put some real strategy behind how and what methods and what sort of strategies we use to connect with the various audience members and stakeholders and media that we could be interacting with. Through a connection from Ryan, we actually are hopefully working this fall with a professor at the BU School of Public Health on a sort of practicum type, not a practicum specifically, but a sort of learning in practice course where a group of students will work with us to sort of study best practices in the field for communication strategy, and then suggest some approaches that BFAC can take, and then we'll work alongside that group to decide exactly how we want to move forward and implement the strategy in the future. So more to come this fall.
Muted. All right, terrific, thank you. All right, so next we're going to move on to our steering committee seat election. We had 2 vacancies come about for community representatives on our steering committee. And the position is for a 2-year-long role. We typically have the elections in December for the following 2 years, but because of these vacancies, we're needing to fill in these spots. 4 to 5 seats each year are up for re-election, and we hold 4 of those seats for community members. We currently have 2 openings, and following tonight's meeting, we're going to send out a link for you to vote on. We'll probably have that ready for you later in the meeting as well. I need to make an update on there. So we'll hold the elections open through Friday at 10 p.m. and then we'll tally the votes and share who the next committee members will be. So as part of that, we would like our candidate to introduce herself. Our candidate is Musikula Masakoi, and if you could say a few words about why you're interested in joining BFAC Steering Committee, that would be great.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Musikula Masakoi. Let's see, growing up in the city of, well, Boston and Mattapan, in Dorchester predominantly, as a young child, when my mother had to deal with food insecurities and applied for food stamps, I saw the difficulties that we had to deal with on a regular basis when it came to getting access to certain foods. We had a lot of food allergies, and during that time way back, you were only given certain things, and the certain things that, you know, that they provided, it just wasn't something that wasn't always things that I could possibly eat. So my 4 brothers at the time could eat, but I couldn't eat everything. I saw food insecurities within my community where a lot of kids would, you know, just buy penny candy to nourish their bodies. And there were times where we didn't have enough food in our refrigerators. And when I saw that the Boston Food Access Council existed, I was like, was this around when I was younger, or was this around when I, had children living in Dorchester? I knew that WIC was available, but again, there were just, certain things that I wanted to know about. How do we provide more food for students? Going through the Boston public school systems, had to see kids in school not get meals sometimes. Kids sometimes brought their meals home with them or stuffed certain things in their bags. So that was part of my interest, at least the beginning, the foundation interest in the Boston Food Access Council. Then I started doing work with Lower Roxbury Coalition, and having more access and information, and seeing what YASER does, and seeing, I believe, Project Bread, having walked for hunger for several years when I was younger, seeing those things, and then meeting the Boston Food Access Council, I said, this is something that I want to be a part of. My greater interest is closing the food gap, more for, not only for everyone, but just seeing children not go with food is something that really touches me, being a young mother. Having kids that I've always make sure that they would eat before I would eat, making sure that they're nourished, because they're the ones that are going to carry on and do more, in my mind's eye, going into the future. I started to volunteer with Orlena for the virtual food fair, and that my interest even grew bigger doing that, doing the fair, being able to reach out to other people, find farmers and the other resources that are available that I still am not fully educated on. These were the things that gave me a lot of interest in being a part of the steering committee. I decided I wanted to volunteer in ways so that I can learn a little bit more about what happens and what it takes to be a part of the steering committee. And then when I saw that there was a seat, I said, okay, well, let me apply. I really have an interest also in making sure that the younger mothers who are not eating healthy for the children that they're carrying are able to get the foods that is going to help them with nourishing the child that's within them. These are just a few of the things that that gave me a greater interest, but my predominant interest is just closing the food gaps and nourishing the young, nourishing everyone, but nourishing the family, but making sure that the young don't have to go without, where they're in positions of, having to be at school and take foods from school, or they're having to go through trash just to get foods. So that is my greatest interest. And I hope that if I am chosen to be a committee member, that I can, learn more about the organization and serve and help in any way possible.
Thanks
Thank
so
you.
much. I really
Thank you.
appreciate that. Yeah, we've had the pleasure of getting to know Musu a little bit through the COEE event. So glad to see you up there. All right, we're going to switch now to our breakout rooms. And the purpose of the breakout rooms is to get to know each other and also a little bit, learn a little bit about what's happening in our neighborhoods and with your organizations. So for tonight's breakout rooms, we have a couple of suggested prompts. First, we recommend introducing yourselves to each other. And then also possible prompts would include, what do you see as the greatest summertime challenge for Boston as a food system? And secondly, what unique challenges does your organization or neighborhood currently face? So we'll go ahead and put you in some breakout rooms. I think we've allowed 20 minutes for this, but if you guys find that it's too much time, feel free to come back to the main room, and I'll send an alert when we're going to close the rooms soon. So, all right, thanks. Great, well, welcome back from the breakout rooms. Come on. Share. Oh. All right, so we're gonna progress now to our working group updates, which is one of my favorite parts of the meeting, because these are the groups that are driving BFAC. So I'm going to give the fundraising working group report out, because we actually have a fundraising working group again. Yay! We have a new co-chair. We're still looking for a second one. Her name is Christine Ayash, and she's unable to be here tonight due to a child's recital, which is very fun. And let's see. So she wanted me to mention that they're continuing the co-chair search. So if you know of anyone that's interested in partnering with her, she's really eager, really impressive. She'd be great to work with. So just let me know, or Cheryl or Caroline or someone, just reach out. We're also going to be asking our working groups to put together some draft budgets of kind of like goal setting for next year, if they have events that they're interested in doing, if they've got speakers they want to bring in, or if they have different projects that they want to do. Kind of looking ahead, what does our fundraising target need to be in order to meet those? We've also got a potential grantor that we're going to be meeting with in June, which is exciting. And she's going to be continuing to work on a donors list to begin to have a contact basis to be able to reach out to. So are there any questions about fundraising? All right. Well, with that, we will go ahead to the MFAA group. Christine Becker has finished her term, and so we have Alex Fleck, who is incoming, who could not be here tonight, but Hayen is going to provide the update for us, who is staying in place, being stalwart, not leaving us, thank goodness. So Hayen, I'll turn it over to you.
Hi, everyone. Thanks, Christine. Hayen again with the City Office of Food Justice. So yeah, Christine has transitioned on, and she was really instrumental to setting a foundation for our working group. Alex Flack who was elected as a new co-chair for MFAA. Alex is the Watertown and Lexington Farmers Market Manager. Alex has been part of our working group as a team lead in our food systems map for the past 5 months, and has just a deep passion for equitable, just food systems. Yeah, and so we're really excited and moving forward with Alex. Sorry, I was reading the bio, so I'm off camera. But yeah, really excited to have Alex join us. We're continuing to move on our food mapping project. Thanks, Christine, for putting the directory, and we're hoping to just finalize some tech solutions for that. Yeah, and then on kind of a related note, the Office of Food Justice rebranded, as many of you guys know, in February. We're hoping to hire a director, make an offer to a director next week. So they'll be on in the next 2 weeks or next month, and we'll do some strategic planning with them and the new urban ag office called Grow Boston in the city of Boston. And we will share with the steering committee and with everyone what the strategic planning kind of looks like after that, and see how that shapes the work of the working group. But yeah, thanks everyone.
Terrific, thank you. All right, we will move on now to, I believe, policy and advocacy. Is that right?
Hi, everyone.
Yes, thank you, Sarah.
Hi, everyone. This is Sarah Manigo. This past quarter, the BFAC Policy and Advocacy Working Group has held substantive discussions on how to best support the urban agriculture community from a policy and advocacy perspective. We're grateful for the discussions led by member Barbara Connect from the Urban Farm Institute. We're also very pleased to have had Shawnee Fletcher from Grow Boston join us. We also gleaned very helpful insights from other members like Conan Benjamin, I hope I didn't say that wrong, from Eastie Farms. We plan to continue researching ways to support urban ag in the coming year. We look forward to partnering further with Grow Boston, the Office of Food Justice, the Office of Energy and Environment, and other organizations on urban ag expansion and support at a policy level. We also met with the Office of Energy and Environment to discuss ways to support the Waste Zero Boston initiative. We are in the process of creating systems to better connect and collaborate with the many student advocacy groups in Boston. So far, we're working with groups from BU and Tufts. We hope to create policy priorities and a list of new projects for groups who need semester-long BFAC engagement. Working with members of these area student groups will not only further our reach and enhance our ability to make an impact through policy and advocacy, but it'll also double as a recruitment initiative. Please note, everyone, before I forget to tell you that we will not have a P&A working group meeting this month. So as many of you already know, my term has ended and I decided not to run for re-election. I want to thank all of you for making my term as a co-chair of the P&A working group one of the most rewarding volunteer experiences I've ever had. You've all been tremendous, and from working together to plan the mayoral candidate forum to collaborating with you through coalitions, policy initiatives, and food system discussions, it's been a pleasure to work with so many talented, dedicated members of the Boston area food system. So thank you all for your hard work and dedication. So without further ado, I would like to introduce the person who was elected last week to take my place. Congratulations, Alexa Gosdiff. I see that you're here. Lexi Gosdiff is a public health professional driven and determined to make positive change in the food system through research and policy work. She is passionate about equity-focused work that creates supportive, inclusive, and accessible environments to foster food justice and public health. Lexi is currently wrapping up her master's in public health from Tufts Medical School and a master's of science in food policy from the Friedman School of Nutrition Science and Policy. During her time at Tufts, she served as the chair of the Friedman Food Policy Council and worked on university-sponsored research projects on school food procurement and dollar store shopping during the pandemic. Last summer, she served as a policy fellow with then Boston City Councilor Michelle Wu, focusing on food justice-related topics. Currently, Lexi splits her time between East Somerville Main Streets as a farmer's market manager and the Medford Department of Public Health, working on food security initiatives such as a school district-wide emergency food system and development of a new city food policy council. So I believe you will be in excellent hands with Chloe Miller and Lexi Gosdiff. So without taking any more time, I will pass it over to Lexi to say a few things. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Sarah. Sorry I wrote so much for you to have to speak out there. Yeah, like Sarah said, I am a dual master's degree student wrapping up this summer. I've had the pleasure of engaging in some of these meetings in the past through my work with then Counselor Wu. And I'm really excited to keep working with this group and especially excited to keep partnering with the student organizations at Boston University and my university, Tufts, Friedman School specifically. So yeah, I know some of the folks in the room are from the Friedman School, so I'm looking forward to continuing those connections and working together on some exciting new projects.
Well, thanks so much, Lexi, for stepping up, and also big thanks to Sarah as she departs. We're going to miss you and Christine both because you guys are such fabulous co-chairs. So our next update.
I just have to say I'm going to jump off, and it was nice seeing everyone. I have to jump back to class. So have a great night.
Thanks, Lexi. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. And now we have our community outreach, education, and engagement report from Orlena, I believe, is doing it tonight. And their group is definitely coming off of a high for having their first exciting event. So I'll let them talk about that with you.
Well, I don't want to do all the talking. So we do have Yasser here. We do have Masu here. I don't want to be a busybody. Just Masu, come and step up.
I apologize. Are we discussing about the virtual food fair?
Yes.
So the virtual food fair was held on May 28th, and I believe 12:30 to 2:30, if I'm not mistaken. The attendance again was 28 people. We had breakout rooms with farming being one of them, the pantry from our pantry to yours, and the last was a resource room. A lot of people really enjoyed and appreciated everything that we had 3 presenters for each category. Oh, here it is. the report out. People enjoyed what each of the presenters shared, and many people asked several questions. Let's see. Thank you to the speakers, to the volunteers who made the event possible. The goal is to organize. The goal of this past virtual event was to organize an in-person event later in the fall. So we welcome any individuals for the future COEE meetings who might be interested in participating in those efforts as well. Thank you.
And I want to add to that because I think we did good as far as, doing the virtual event, but to do the physical one, I don't think we want to plan it for 2022. We really need to gather some more members so we can get some more help. So I want to make that a target for 2023. It'll give us a year to plan, and it'll give us time so that we can collect the vendors and get everything in perspective. And right now, thankfully, we're going to be adding a budget to it. So this will be to help to get signs, bags, t-shirts, all of the stuff that we're going to need to represent BFAC at these in-person meetings. Do anybody go? Yasser, Caroline? I know Caroline's here temporarily, but she had some really good ideas too.
Yes, I support everything that was said. And just to touch on the event, I thought it was really great. I thought all the speakers were, there was a running theme, but everyone brought something a little bit different to the table, which I wanted to point out, which was really cool. And in regards to an in-person event, yeah, I think that would be awesome and probably the goal. But I also agree with you, Orlena. It's a lot of work, and maybe kind of like riding off some of the energy that we have from the virtual fair to gain more membership and stuff like that could be helpful for an in-person event. So that's what I think.
Well, thanks
Thank
again.
You, Caroline. Thank you, Caroline and Yasser.
Thanks again to the COEE group. They did a great job, and it was lots of things to learn and lots of connections made, and I think it was a nice representation of BFAC. So thank you. Next, we're going to pass it back to Yasser for the community updates.
Yeah, so again, this is a part where if you message me in the chat, you'll be allowed to tell the rest of the group any updates that you may have organizationally or within your residence or neighborhood. We did have Masu that had an update, but I haven't gotten anyone else's that may have a community update. So again, just let me know if you do have one in the chat, and you can go right after Masu. Thank you.
Thank you again. So this coming Friday, June 10th, the Lower Roxbury I forget the word. We're collaborating with Vital Village. I apologize. We're hosting a mental health youth forum event at the Brook Charter School in Boston. It's on 200 American Legion Highway, and it's free and available for teens, faculty members. We'll have refreshments. We'll also have keynote speakers, panel discussions, predominantly just to address what's going on with the youth and what their mental health state is. The pandemic has made a great impact on how they are interacting with one another, with the society as a whole. And we're just trying to figure out ways of finding out what their concerns are and finding ways of meeting their concerns. And the second is So for the youth forum, that's going to be at the Brook School on Friday from 5:30 to 7. And then the second event is the Family Movement. It's a homeless to home air. Ninth annual community brunch. It's up from 11:30 to 2 p.m. We were looking to have someone that could be available to come in and do a table where they could share their organization's information and then resources on SNAP and HIP. I think between 11:30 and 2, I can give you more information. But yes, those are the two events that we have going from Lower Roxbury.
Thank you, Masu. I did want to say that second part you cut off a little bit. So it would be helpful maybe if you can put a little bit a description or a blurb in the chat because it cut off and we didn't get the entire message. I know there was a request for tabling or for volunteers, but if you could just, write it in the chat, that would be great. And Christine, I think you are up next.
Yeah, I have a quick update. I just learned about a program. Well, my organization has been struggling with volunteers. We had a plethora during the pandemic and now are struggling again to get enough volunteers to get done the things we need to get done. And we have just learned about a program that's through DoorDash called Project Dash. And this is a really awesome opportunity that we're just getting started with. And they will provide delivery service for groceries from your pantry or food bank at no cost. So I'm really excited about this. I don't have all the details of how it works, but we are headed in that direction for the Fourth Presbyterian Church Food Pantry. If you would like more information, I can connect you to the people at Project Dash. Just let me know. I'll put my email in the chat and reach out if you're interested. Thanks.
And I think that is it from the chat. I did have a community update myself where the Food Project in collaboration with DSNI, Dudley Street Neighborhood Initiative, they have a Dudley greenhouse. And within that Dudley greenhouse, they actually have a residential board of, I think it's 6 to 8 members. That being said, it's called the Greenhouse Advisory Committee. And they are now taking elections has now begun, and they're now taking applications for any residents that are interested in being a part of the steering committee, the board, whatever you want to call it, of the greenhouse. Some of the responsibilities that members are expected to do is remediate polluted and urban land, running low-cost farmers markets, teaching local elementary school children on basics of science through garden-based curriculum, hosting meetings and workshops on gardening and food preservation as well, selecting crops that do not require high nighttime temperatures, utilizing energy efficient root zone heating systems, and seeking innovation for different ways to operate the greenhouse. So I'll be adding a flyer into the chat. If you know any residents that would like to apply to be a part of the board of the Dudley Advisory Greenhouse Committee, there's the first meeting this Saturday at 11 a.m. The Dudley Greenhouse, you can Google it. It's at 11 Brook Avenue, Boston, Massachusetts, 02125. It's open to residents of all over the neighborhood though. But if you cannot attend the meeting this Saturday from 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m., I'll also be sending out via email applications to all of the residents that have it in an outreach contact list database. So feel free to email me at yaponte@thefoodproject.org, and I'll add that to the chat as well. If you know any residents that are interested in being a part of the greenhouse board, essentially residential board. Thank you.
Terrific. Orlena, did you have something, or is this a? I think it's not for us. Okay. All right. Cheryl, are you available?
I'm here.
Okay. Yeah, we're available. I'll share the wrap up screen.
I'm so sorry.
No, you're
Yeah,
fine.
Did
somebody want to say something?
Okay, so
Paulina?
Oh, okay. I thought somebody else was talking. I didn't want to be rude. Okay, so what I'm showing you is a flyer of our organizing school that's coming up. I will be doing childcare for the organizing school, but I think this is a great opportunity for everybody to join. If you want to do a little bit more organizing. The school is awesome. I was just there at the beginning of April, and it was wonderful. We spent the whole week out in Alpine, or I can't think of it. It's a little outside of Framingham, and it was a great event. They went for 5 days. And they taught from everything on how to organize. So I think that it's something interesting for some of us. I'm sure everybody is great at organizing, but maybe somebody may be interested and want to learn more about it. So you can share this with them. And it's a free event, I believe.
Thanks, Orlena.
You're welcome.
All right. With that, I'll turn it over to Cheryl.
Okay.
I've lost my window. One moment, please. There we are.
I think I have it. Oh, there you go. I was just pulling mines up. So I'm wrapping up and next steps in action. This meeting was really, really great. Our next BFAC meeting is going to be on Tuesday, September 13th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. We do have a speaker, a potential speaker, which would be Shawnee Fletcher from Grow Boston. All these links would actually be sent in our follow-up emails. And you'll be able to get, once this information is sent to you, you'll be able to get the links to all our 2022 meetings, information on how to become a member, how to join a working group. If you're interested in our fundraising co-chair position, please email myself or Christine or Carolyn. to be an intern this fall, please email Carolyn Bond for that information. Please check out our BFAC website and follow us on social media. And one other thing, please share all our information and spread the word. This was a great meeting.
Well, thanks everybody for coming tonight. If there's any other questions or any comments anyone has, feel free to share them at this time. All right, well, we will see you in September or at a working group meeting before then. Take care and have a safe summer.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care, everyone. Be well.